Hello, everybody. This is Teresa Rosado from MiLatinx News Agency, and I wanted to share with you an event that occurred today, August 27th, and also last night, August 26th, in East Lansing, Michigan. The East Lansing Public Library hosted a One Book, One Community event, and it featured Sonia Sotomayor. And I was able to attend both events. First, as a community member, last night they didn't permit media in there to shoot or collect video, but I was able to enter the Breslin Center and they did allow media access. And I wanted to share with you a clip of her speech, as well as comments from both students and alumni that attended the event.
I'm listening to everybody talk to you, and I'm afraid that I'm going to repeat a lot of what they said. I'm sorry. But I guess that what it tells you is that the recipe for success here, just like the recipe in college, in life, requires certain basic things from you. And so I want to talk a little bit about it. But let me start first by thanking Provost Hewitt for the warm welcome and the lovely introduction. Thank you, President Bengler, for your gracious hospitality. And thank you to the entire Michigan State community for the chance to be here and address all of you today. I am particularly honored to be here because it is a joy to speak with this newest group of Spartans, just as you are poised to begin an exciting and sometimes challenging new chapter in your lives and in the life of this great university. You are part of a very rich tradition. They've reminded you of that, right? Michigan State is and has long been one of our nation's foremost public universities, and tremendous opportunities await you here. You will find world-class research being done, dedicated teachers who can help open up the world to you, and countless opportunities for service and enrichment. Take advantage of all this special place has to offer. This is a moment of great possibility, but also, I will bet, some uncertainty. That is a good thing, you just got here. If you ever listen to your parents, I sometimes do, you recognize how little you know and how much you have to learn while you are here. You know, when I graduated from Princeton, because my last name begins with an S, I was far back. I could barely see the stage. And I looked at all the people up here from the far distance. And back then, and I guess still today, they don't tell you who the honorary degree winners will be until the actual day of the ceremony. And I was looking at the people, and I remember looking and saying, what have they done to earn a place on that stage? And I remember thinking to myself, what can I do so someday I might be up here? And I wasn't sure of my path, but I knew that I had to possess certain things, certain attitude, a certain way of living my life that would lead me on a path that would take me to contributing something to making this a better world. And that's your biggest job, finding that path for yourselves, figuring out, how do I get to a place where I make a difference? And so, I'm going to give you my recipe. There are three very basic things. There are things that I try to do and have done in every experience in my life. So the first is, find the right people to share this experience with. This and every experience you have in life requires you to look for people to share it with. Second, be curious and share the new things you learn with others. Knowledge is not something you hoard for yourself. Knowledge is something you share and give. And third, devote a part of each day to doing something nice for someone else. So, the first ingredient in a successful college career is sharing your experience here with other people. Many people make lifelong friends in college. While you are here, you will be glad to have a network of supportive, caring people to share your joys and successes, and also your insecurities and fears. College will challenge you to think more deeply and work harder than you ever have before. You may struggle. Frankly, it's likely you'll struggle. During my first semester of college, I was assigned to write a midterm paper in my introductory American history course. I will still remember when I got it back, I saw a big red C+ mark at the top. That was the lowest grade I had received in anything since 4th grade. I was devastated. I thought I was smarter than that. But as a supportive network of family, friends, and professors at my university helped me survive it and improve. The closest friends you will have here may be the people you have yet to meet. Maybe someone sitting next to you will become your closest friend. As you get to know your classmates, think carefully about the quality of the people you are befriending. And I do not mean, do they listen to the right music? Or are they wearing the right clothes? Are they cool? Instead, ask yourself, are they good people? Do they have good values, and do they do things for others in a way you admire? Can they teach you to be a better person? Seek out people whose backgrounds are different from your own. That is one of the great thrills of attending a world-class research university like this one. You will all bring so many different experiences with you. Everyone has something to teach you. You just have to be willing to learn and to ask them about their own experiences. Don't close yourself off. Find good people, bond with them, and through that bonding, learn more about the world around you. But to do that, you have to share yourself with others. You have to be willing to reach out to others and to ask them for help. You have to be willing to share your fears, to share those secrets that keep you from being more successful. Bonding means giving of yourself so others will return that to you. But how do you attract good people to you so they want to bond with you? How do you make yourself an interesting person? That's the second ingredient. To become an interesting person while you are here, you have to develop your knowledge base. And it is knowledge that you have to be willing to share with others. College is an opportunity for you to learn about the world through books, from teachers, from your own critical thinking, from your classmates. But not if you take the path of least resistance. Study unfamiliar subjects, or ones you have struggled with in the past. Attend lectures on topics you know nothing about. I assume this university has a rich cadre of speakers who can add value to you. Do not be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand something in class, it's not brown-nosing to go up to the professor and ask the professor to explain again. And even when they're annoyed, persist. You're entitled to know what they're talking about. And it takes courage to admit you don't know. But it's the most important courage in life to be able to say, I don't understand, but I want to learn. Be bold and participate in an activity or activities that are different than anything you have tried before. Round out your knowledge about yourself and all aspects of the world. That is how your stable of knowledge will grow. Becoming a well-rounded person in college helped me become a better lawyer and judge. In my profession, you become a temporary expert in every case you handle. When I was a lawyer, I had to learn more than I ever would have dreamed about. Imagine learning about designer handbags. That was fun. But I spent an entire 2 weeks learning about mosquito repellent. Just within the last year as a Supreme Court Justice, I learned how credit card companies do business and how cell phone towers work. You do not have to study anything specific, of course, and this advice is not just for the pre-law students. Learning to be a curious person, someone who is fluid in the new and unfamiliar, will serve you well in any profession. You know, some of the top doctors in the world, they're just not science and medical experts. If you talk to them, most of them know about so much about current affairs and the world. They engage you. And in that engagement, they're able to talk to you about your condition and about what will make you better. They, too, never forget to share the new things they've learned with others. Think about the role models you have admired most in your prior education. Teachers, coaches, administrators. I will bet they taught you not just what they knew about the subject at hand, but also what they knew about other things in life. That is what drew you to them. Learning to do that is what will draw other people to you. Why? Because it shows you care. People respond to that. When you give to others, they give back to you without you needing to ask. And that is the third ingredient in my recipe for life success, helping others. When I was in college, I started a volunteer program at a psychiatric hospital that provided translation services to some of its patients. We organized bingo nights, sing-alongs, and holiday parties. That was my first real experience with direct community service. And while it was a modest effort, it taught me something important, that I wanted to spend my career in public service. I began to see how I could make a difference in people's lives and enrich my own at the same time. For me, the law has been the way to make that difference. I became a lawyer and a judge because I discovered a vocation and a passion in law. It was a way for me to help people. I talk in my memoir about that discovery. I have come to appreciate that there are no bystanders in life. You have to participate in life to appreciate that if you work with integrity, honesty, and a giving heart, everything you do will have and give you meaning. That meaning comes when you give something of value to your community. For me, the way to do that was to become a lawyer and later a judge. Your passion in life may be different, but you need to find it because it's what gives meaning to life. You must work at finding it. In college and afterwards, ask yourself daily, what have I learned from you today? And what have I done today to help someone else? If you can answer those questions each day, then you will know you are on the right path, even if you don't know exactly where it will lead you. So remember those three things. Build connections with good people, expand and share your knowledge, and do a little bit each day to help someone else. Now, many of you may have read my book. Some of you may be waiting till the last bit. For those of you who are waiting, if I could recommend to you a certain number of short chapters, and it was the chapters about my life in college, and those are chapters 14 through 18. And there you will hear about all of my escapades in college, and all the other things I learned, and how I survived. in a totally new and alien environment for me. I suspect that college will be something new, exciting and scary at the same time. And I hope that my words will give you comfort in knowing that you can survive anything if you're willing to ask for help, and if you follow some of the advice that not just I, but everyone else in this room has given you today. You will leave college equipped to lead a successful and, more importantly, meaningful life. In the process, however, remember to have a little fun and to enjoy being here. Good luck to all of you in finding your life passions. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Sotomayor. What a wonderful first lecture for all our students as they start their MSU careers. To all of our
Hi, this is Teresa Rosado from MiLatinx, and I'm interviewing Samira. She is a Spartan here, and could you tell me what is your impressions of Sotomayor here today at MSU?
She was an inspiration for me from a really young age. I went to Washington, D.C., and I was really excited to see her, and hearing her speak today was really important for me personally because going to college is something that I've always wanted to do, and hear her talk about how school isn't just about the grades and how it's not just about working really hard, but it's also about making interaction with other students and making interaction with professors, using the opportunities that are given and being more involved in the society that you're doing.
Hi, this is Teresa Rosado from MiLatinx News Agency, and I'm with Leah Davis from Detroit, and she's with the James Madison College. Leah, what are your impressions of Sotomayor's speech today? What did it mean for you?
Sotomayor's speech today was very impactful, and it was an excellent experience to have her come out to speak to the Spartan Nation on today. As a fellow minority, her speech was very influential to myself. She also studies political science and went on to become a lawyer and a judge, and that is also something that I also aspire to be, to study. And so it was very impactful, and I enjoyed her experience today.
All right, thank you. And what are your impressions of Sotomayor's speech today?
I think gave a great speech. What really stuck out with me is when she talked about going to a lecture or learning about something that you have no knowledge about. She seems very dedicated to learning, and I thought it was a great message for the incoming class.
And what types of things for yourself as a student and challenges did you have to understand to reach the successes you've had in your life?
To me, it was getting over the culture shock. I come from what's relatively a small town in Michigan, Saginaw, and it's just such a different culture when you get here. It's like an area that's as big as my hometown, and it's all students. But once you get over the fact that it's so different and that everybody's here kind of doing the same thing you are, and you start to make friends, it gets a lot easier. There's really a sense of community amongst the Latinx community. There was at that time, there is now. So that's really what helped, get over some of those barriers, some of those, problems you kind of encountered just trying to figure out your way here.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep, no problem.